Hey there, good morning. Welcome to Coffee with Connie. I'm Connie Fuksa. How you guys doing today? So we've been talking a little bit. A lot of people are starting to look at refinancing their home. And one of the things I try to do with you a couple of times a week is talk to you about some things with respect to real estate. Because buying and selling, refinancing, doing any of that process with real estate can become very complicated. There's so many pieces to it. And right now I am in the process of talking about refinancing because I have several people who have been refinancing their properties who are asking me all kinds of questions. And the reason is because when they first purchased their home, they had a real estate agent that guided them through a lot of the process, and now they don't have that. And when you refinance your home, it's like buying your house from yourself because you're doing a new mortgage and you have to go through the whole mortgage process again. And so it can be a little overwhelming and confusing. So I thought, especially since I've had quite a few questions about it and the interest rates seem to be dropping and looking appealing right now, people are starting to think about maybe refinancing to pay off some debt, to borrow some money to pay off other things, to borrow some money to use to buy things. There's lots of different options there because if you have equity in your home, the purpose of refinancing is either to bring down your payment with a lower interest rate and lower costs, monthly costs, or to pull some cash out of the value of your property, borrowing money against your property, using that interest deduction on your property, on your income taxes, and use some of that equity you have to buy other things. So a lot of questions regarding refinancing, and so that's what I've been focusing on here in January, and we're going to do this probably through the whole month, is talk about some of these questions that may come up, some of the confusing concepts or thoughts or things that you're asked to do, and explain some of that, why that's there. Like any other time, if you have questions or you are in the middle of this and you don't understand something, you can message me here. You can go to my website, conniefuksa.com, and get some information there. You can also reach out to me through that. So let me know if you have questions, because when you have questions, it probably are things other people are thinking and they need that help as well. So let's talk a bit this morning about the whole appraisal thing. So when you purchase a property, an appraisal, the lender actually orders what's called an appraisal. And an appraisal is where they send someone out to confirm the value of the property. And so that's a way for you and the mortgage company who's loaning you a whole bunch of money to buy this property. They can make sure, and you can make sure, that what you think the value of that home is actually is. And so what happens is there's a licensed person called an appraiser that the mortgage company hires and sends out to the house that you're buying or refinancing. And they do an actual scale analysis, everything about that house. They compare to 3 other homes that are close in vicinity, close in pricing, close in size, to see how that matches up and to see if that new house you're purchasing or your home that you're refinancing, if that value is what everybody thinks it is. So if you're refinancing, it's very similar with a purchase. The appraisal is done very similarly. The person comes out and they go through the house, they go through the property, they pull some records about that property, and then they pull a lot of records about other properties close to it that have sold recently so that they can establish this is what a fair market value would be for this property. And it's done for a refinance because the lender needs to make sure they're loaning you an awful lot of money, just like when you're purchasing the property, and they need to make sure that the money they're loaning you is able to be recuperated. So they want to make sure they get that money back. Just like if somebody's loaning you money on a car, they want to make sure that they get that money back. Anybody's loaning you money, they want to make sure they get that money back. And with a mortgage, you're talking about a large amount of money, and the lender wants to make sure that the house that you're refinancing is worth the value that they're going to loan you the money. So when an appraisal is done, it could be that your value has increased a lot. And someone I was working with recently, their value had increased a lot. They've done a lot of improvements on their property. So it made their property more valuable. Plus, when they purchased it, it was a time in the market where the values were a little bit different. And so they were able to cash out, borrow some more money against their property, more than they owed currently, and use some of that cash to do more renovations. And so that may be things that you want to do do if you have equity in the home. And the appraiser is hired by the lender to verify that the value is there for that property, that the lender can get that money back through your payments, and they're not loaning you more than what that house is actually worth. Because if for some reason you don't make those mortgage payments, that lender is going to have to sell your home at a sale, at a foreclosure sale, to try to recuperate their money. They want to get that money back. They're loaning it to you not out of the goodness of their heart, but they want to make some money on loaning it to you, but they also want to make sure they get it back. So the appraiser actually establishes that value of the home and tells the lender, yeah, you can loan that amount of money because that house is worth this value. And so that's how an appraiser works. How the appraisal happens is ordered by the mortgage company, and then the mortgage company provides you a copy of that appraisal. You won't be able to get that at closing because no one else gets a copy of that appraisal but you. So if you don't get it, make sure you ask your mortgage company for it so you can hold on to that yourself. But that's an overview of how that actually works and why it's needed and who actually does that work. As with any of the conversations that we have, like I said, if you have questions, reach out. But what would be more important and more helpful, is if you hit the share button below, that means that all of the people that you know will be able to see all the stuff that we talked about today. And maybe some of them are going through this and have this similar question, and they could reach out to me, or they could reach out to you to get to me to find that out. But if you hit that share button, you are also eligible to win this free Coffee with Connie mug. So if you hit that, you can enjoy Coffee with Connie every time we go live online. So if you need more information about this or anything else, reach out, message me, hit that share button. Thanks so much for tuning in to Coffee with Connie. I'm Connie Fuksa. I hope you guys have a fantastic day. I look forward to talking to you again real soon. Bye-bye.